Hello everybody, welcome back. We last left off fighting through a ton of these Siths and whatnot, and some had popped out at me, and I killed them, and got through the door. So it's a pretty simple quest. Basically, I'm just getting to the end here, and killing this fool. And we get to meet up in I guess, a congregating area is the correct word for it. I don't know. An FOB, there we go, forward operating base, here in a minute. But while we're killing the Sith, I figured I would clarify what I said in the past episode, because there were some questions about that. Look, so basically what happens, like I said, I'll talk about this more in the interim phase, but basically what happens with Kira is she ends up getting pregnant, and in order for Roshak not to know that she's about to have a son, she goes away on vacation. I'm doing air quotes, you can't see him, but I'm doing air quotes. Vacation for about 9-10 months, and comes back, and Doc went and helped out every now and then as well.
General, the chemical plant is ours. The Sith never finished their bomb.
After all our time together, I never expected anything less. I wish your Jedi army was so successful. They took back Thrax's corporate headquarters, but the enemy looted all her weapon factories. The Empire is now better armed. Plus, you lost a full Jedi squad on this mission.
Our goal was to kick the Empire out of Labor Valley completely. Can you do it or not, General?
Considering the firepower the Empire escaped those factories with, I don't know. Republic forces have just engaged the Empire in the Axial Park sector. The fighting is heavy, and SIS reports plenty of Sith activity.
Maybe we'll find your missing Jedi there. Worth a shot.
I already have people in Axial Park at these coordinates. I'll alert the other Jedi to meet you there. Marsuthra, out.
Your forces performed splendidly. They drove the Empire from my headquarters before it could loot any precious resources. I trust you'll find my gratitude as generous as promised. Farewell.
It's funny about her quote-unquote gratitude. There I go with the air quotes again. But the thing is, she actually only sends me like 2,500 credits in the mail, and it's like, well, that's not a whole lot of credits. I mean, I could get that selling like a piece of trash in my inventory. Like, I don't understand. Like, that's not good gratitude. That wasn't necessarily worth it. Maybe story-wise there's something in there that she gives me that I'm just not catching. That helps me out in this quest later on. I know some of the consular quests do that, but this one it just didn't really help at all. That was pretty useless as a gift.
There shouldn't be any argument. The Republic is here to save the people of Corellia. Period.
We're here to win a war, Senator. What good is saving lives if we lose the blasted planet?
There will always be casualties in war. We have to pick our targets carefully.
The Jedi Supreme Commander understands what's at stake much better than you. The Empire sent extermination patrols to our medical evacuation sites. Those murdering scum slaughtered our wounded. Now the Empire's rewarding the killers with parties and medals. They're celebrating in plain sight, taunting us before they're shipped back home. We need to strike back before that filth leaves Corellia. Put some fear in the Empire.
It would be nice to see the Empire shaking in its jackboots.
You have our sympathies for your losses, but what's done is done. We must focus on the people we can still save. Thousands of Corellian citizens are being kidnapped and forced to serve the Empire. We have to free them.
Those citizens are being kidnapped from your prisons. They're criminals.
No. They're in custody awaiting trial. They are innocent until proven guilty, and we cannot abandon them to the enemy.
There's a reason they're locked up. Why should I care what happens to them?
Many were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. If not for this war, they might have been released already.
Supreme Commander, we've received advanced combat gear from Balmora. If you commit men to my cause, we'll equip you to better face the enemy.
That's outrageous. You're attempting to bribe this Jedi.
That is insulting and incorrect, Senator. I'm adding to the Supreme Commander's knowledge. He'll make the final call.
I was already planning to commit all my forces to your mission, Colonel, but I accept your offer.
I can't believe you! I'm filing a complaint to the Supreme Chancellor.
I have coordinates to the Imperial camps where the extermination squads are celebrating. Let's shut those parties down. Wish I could get surveillance hollows to record this. It'd boost morale. Our science advisor is waiting for you. He has information on that rogue Jedi you're after.
And this is the forward operating base I was talking about. Now we get to go talk to Dr. Gadara, funnily enough. We haven't seen him in a while. If you recall correctly, we saved him on Terrace, like back at level 20, or even before that. It was like level 18 or 19 or something. Maybe it was 20. Look, we saved him, and he's now part of the main story, so there you go, I guess.
Haven't seen you since Darth Angral became a cloud of random molecules. Glad you joined the festivities. This gathering is long overdue.
Dr. Godera, this is a war zone. Are you trying to get yourself killed?
Honestly, who is going to target a science museum? Besides, the General's best men are guarding me. My probe droids have been hunting for your Master Braga. They've found enemy activity in 2 buildings bordering Axial Park. Teams of Sith under Master Braga's command are setting up turbo lasers in the building's topmost floors. They're camouflaging the weapons from view.
Send artillery to level those structures. Threat eliminated.
I admire your plan's simplicity, but both buildings contain thousands of civilian inhabitants. The turbo lasers are codenamed Firestorm, an adaptation of the technology from Darth Angral's superweapon, lethal and focused. Those turbo lasers will make Axial Park a literal inferno. There would be no survivors.
If we took control of those turbo lasers, we could incinerate the whole Imperial army.
The fires created would be too intense. They'd spread out of control and consume whole sectors. General Varsuthra wants those turbo lasers destroyed. As I'm currently standing in the line of fire, I'm inclined to agree. Demolitions and transport have been secured. All we need is a small commando group. I'm told you can provide that.
Just like old times. The Republic finds a problem, and I have to go fix it.
Doing it the opposite way never seems to work out. Republic military transports can't get off the ground here, but there's an Imperial assault shuttle on display at a starship museum nearby. The enemy doesn't know the Corellians have it. They'll mistake the assault shuttle for one of their own. You'll fly directly to your targets.
After we hit the first turbo laser, the enemy will be onto us. They'll start gunning for our transport.
I never said the plan was foolproof. You're a Jedi. Fly recklessly. One last thing. I've modified some proton torpedoes into explosive charges. Drop one down a turbo laser's barrel, and you'll fuse it shut. Weapon neutralized. Get to the shuttle. Stop the Sith before they turn this park into a giant cookout. Good luck.
So there you go, pretty straightforward task I have to do here. I have to go to 3 different areas, and at the 3 different areas are 3 bombs that I have to neutralize. Those bombs, by the way, are guarded by a ton of enemies, and there's a crazy bonus series quest, I guess. It's like technically just a bonus on the quest where I have to kill a ton of them, so you'll be seeing me doing that in the background. But while that's all going on, and there's also a little cool cutscene here that I don't really need to turn it off for because there's really no sound. But I saw the Q little things there, the like guardrails for the, and I was gonna go through the line. I was wondering if I cut, but I didn't. But while this is all going on, I figured it would be worth going back to the thought of the chick giving me like the 2,500 credits. It's like not a whole lot at all, but I think that's a really rare occasion that the game does that. For the most part, the game, when it wants to say like, hey, I'm going to reward you a lot for something, they typically do it, or they typically give you something worthwhile. I mean, in this story alone, the first part with the tentacle face guy, basically what ends up happening is you save him, he says, I'm going to give you something to make your lightsaber even stronger, and he does. He gives you a really good color crystal that you can put in your offhand if you're going Sentinel. Obviously, if you pre-ordered the game, you get the black-yellow one. Yeah, that's it. And that one is really good. So that one would replace it anyways. But the other one that you can get, you can put in your offhand if you're a Sentinel, which I think is cool. The thing with that, though, is that's not the only occasion in the story where it does that. There's also, when I was on Taurus, and I went and found the Sith who was, like, buying, like, Jedi merchandise or something, and I went in and, oh, this guy sucks. He does so much damage. I think I even die here, which sucks. Yep. Don't mind that. Look, those assassins are mean. Let's try that again. Basically, the Sith had a ton of stuff from, I think it was Jedi relics, and you kill them and you get the reward for taking those relics away from them, which is really cool. And then there's also different occasions like that throughout the story where you help somebody, they promise you a reward, and they give you something cool. It's not just credits, you know. They give you actually something that you could kind of use, especially if you're leveling up like a character for the first time. It's really good. And the credits, I guess, if you're leveling up a character for the first time, would be good too. But I mean, 2,500 credits is a drop in the bucket, especially considering my bounty hunter at the time of recording this has 9 million credits on him. But that's the other thing to talk about there, is other pieces of the game also are really good at making you feel like you're getting rewarded. Obviously, they're not giving you millions and millions of credits, because that would be silly, but they do make you feel like you're getting rewarded. And the Bounty Hunter is the best example of this, in my opinion. I mean, I've played now 7 of the classes, at least up to level 30, because the next class I'm doing for the next series is now level 30 as of recording this too, so that's another thing to note for those of you who are trying to guess what I'm playing. But the Bounty Hunter, as you're leveling up, the Chapter 1 story, without giving any, you know, major story twists or anything away for you guys, but what happens is you're in this thing called the Great Hunt, and that's no big spoilers because everybody knows that the Great Hunt is Chapter 1, and you go through and you are a bounty hunter. You hunt down people, their targets, and then you either kill them or you bring them in to the people who were hunting them in the first place, and they give you credits for it. They don't give you a lot, I'll tell you that. They don't give you a lot. Once again, this is a situation where it's like 2,500 credits. You're like, that's nothing. That's nothing at all. But the thing that they do is instead they reward you with some really cool titles as you go along, and they reward you with some really cool story arcs within that. So your companions definitely make that a lot more worthwhile as well, because they're really happy when you get rewarded for these kind of things, and they make you feel better about completing jobs, which I think is really cool. But as you get further in the story, now this is a bit of a spoiler, but I'm sure you've probably seen somebody running around with this title anyway. You end up becoming, quote-unquote, the Republic's Most Wanted, which I think is the funniest title in the game because it's so long. It's the longest title in the game, as far as I know, is, you know, so-and-so, the Republic's Most Wanted. Now, with that, or no, Grand Champion of the Great Hunt is the longest one. That's another one. That one's pretty funny. But being the Republic's Most Wanted, you apparently have like millions of credits on your head, and the Republic's going to want to, you know, come and hunt you down, and other people want to come and hunt you down and claim that bounty, which I think is really cool. But the way that the story explains it, and the way that the story keeps throwing curveballs at you at that point, with people wanting to hunt you down to claim that bounty, it makes you feel like, while you're not being rewarded per se, you feel like being a part of the story at the moment is rewarding enough. So basically what I'm trying to say in the end is that the game is really good at making you feel like what you're doing is rewarding enough, rather than giving you straight up just tons and tons of credits, which I think is cool. And also on that note, they do have pretty high numbers for the amount of credits that you get, like 8 million or 9 million, whatever I said earlier. I don't even remember how much I have now that I've been talking, but the the thing with that is it makes you feel like you have a lot of money. So as a bounty hunter, it makes me feel like I've earned a lot, even though that not all of that's from questing. So it's a very rewarding experience as far as stuff like that goes. So we come over here, and after all of that, we finally finish off the first bomb. We have 2 more to go, and we'll do that next week.